What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you an expanded deck centered around the combination of Zoroark-GX and Lycanroc-GX that was piloted by Eduardo Gonzalez during the San Jose Regionals. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, helps us out a ton. And let's do more cool stuff for you guys. And if you have not done so already, please feel free to check out the TTM Discord that will be linked in the description, where we have channels for not just TCG content, which is obviously on our channel, but also draft format and Smogon content as well. So if any of that interests you, please feel free to check that out. And finally, as for the question of the day, now Lycanroc Zoroark was a deck concept that really got popularized in the standard format, and for a while was actually, I believe it was considered the BDIF for a very short period. Well, it might not have been that short, but I'm pretty positive it was considered the best deck in the format for a little while at the very least. But then all of a sudden Buzzwole came along and it was just like, oh, you have Zoroark? Well, that's just free KOs for me. But either way, this was a deck that was the best deck in the format, I believe, for a while. And in Expanded, it just got a lot better with cards like Skyfield, Exeggcute, Computer Search. It just got a few things that really turn it from a very good deck to a deck that can compete at the top tier once again, although Buzzwole is still a thing. And so that got me thinking, what other decks in the standard format just get better when you put them into the expanded format? And so that's going to be my question of the day. What decks do you guys like using in standard that really just get better with cards that you put them with in expanded? Obviously, Zoroark Lycanroc is one of those decks because, I mean, let's be real, it did very well at San Jose Regionals. It got top 8, and then Skyfield with Zoroark allows you to hit for, instead of just 120 damage, can potentially allow you to hit for 180 damage for just DCE, which is absolutely absurd. Then you have Exeggcute, which essentially mitigates the discard cost of trade, so just a whole lot of support, or not necessarily a whole lot of support, but just enough support to where it can find success at the highest level. And so I was thinking about the other decks, and I mean, I'm just going to kind of go with the cop-out answer of Malamar, because, I mean, the expanded format gives it a lot more supporters to work with, things like Colress, to where you can get fresh hands, new hands, all that type of thing with a shuffle draw supporter. You have Battle Compressor to just go into the deck, throw Psychic Energy into the discard pile. Really, there's just a whole lot of different cards that Malamar just loves, and whether that's with Necrozma or Ultra Necrozma, I mean, take your pick, really. But both of them are very good, and Malamar is one of the strongest decks in the format, if not the strongest deck, so just the ability to be able to do that, I think, makes it a lot better. Now, granted, that does mean that it is susceptible to things like Night March. However, Photon Geyser from Ultra Necrozma is something that can just eliminate a bunch of Night Marchers. Is it Photon Geyser? No, it's Sky Scorching Light, that's right. Well, I think that's the GX attack. But either way, Ultra Necrozma's GX attack, where you put 6 damage counters on all of your opponent's Pokemon, can really just swing that match, so Night March isn't as horrific of a matchup as it might be. But either way, Malamar is going to be what I pick as the deck that just gets better in the expanded format. Let me know what you guys think below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. But anyway, on to the deck. I'm sorry I talked for way too long. This is getting a problem. This is getting to be a problem. Maybe I just need to eliminate the question of the day if I'm just going to be talking for that long about it. But anyway, this is just very straightforward. It's centered around the combination of Zoroark-GX just being the main attacker, and then Lycanroc-GX with the bloodthirsty eyes when you play this from your hand. It's basically a Lysander when you evolve it, which allows you to not only use a different supporter, but, I mean, it's a way to get a draw support in addition to having the bloodthirsty, in addition to having the Lysander support for the turn. Really just makes it a lot easier for you to work around different things that your opponent might play down. So it's just a very, very cool little engine that we got going here, and I'm just going to go through the mons that we chose and the number of mons that we are using. One Shaymin, just because sometimes you need that little extra like oomph in a turn. You need that little extra extension. Shaymin is one of those. It's like, okay, well, this deck doesn't actually mind having a full bench, particularly in Skyfield, and Shaymin's one of those cards that's really easy to just discard and not lose anything if your opponent happens to get rid of Skyfield. So it's just kind of a win-win. You get 20 extra damage on Zoroark, and you get the benefit from Shaymin with not a whole lot of drawback if you play it down, apart from that being on the field if your opponent Lysanders or Guzmas that thing up. But it is still just very strong if you need a couple extra cards. Running 4 Zorua and then a 1-3 of the stand-in Zoroark and the Riotous Beating, not Righteous Beating, I'm going to say that wrong multiple times, but it is Riotous Beating. And the stand-in Zoroark, this is just a way that we don't auto-lose to things like Safeguard, but at the same time we do have a Hex Maniac to work around Safeguard as well. This is just a non-GX attacker that we can put up, can do some heavy damage, especially if our opponent tries to take advantage of our Skyfield. We can use our Zoroark to come in and punish them for doing so. And then, of course, the regular Zoroark with Trade and Riotous Beating, just both of those being boosted by expanded cards, like I said. Trade being boosted by the Exeggcute that really just that can just come back into the hand and discard itself multiple times. And then Riotous Beating, you're able to hit for potentially 180, 210 if you have a choice band. That is absolutely absurd. Then 3-2 of Rockruff and Lycanroc. We're only running 2 of the Lycanroc just because we really don't need 3 of the Lycanroc-GX. We're already running a very heavy Pokemon line anyway. We're only going to need like 1 or 2 Bloodthirsty Eyes throughout the course of a game. However, if we need a third, we can make plays with like Acerola or something like that. But 2 works for the time being. And then 1 Sudowoodo so that our opponent can't necessarily take advantage of our Skyfield. Just limit them to 4 bench spots in a matchup where you don't necessarily want to play Skyfield, or where you don't think that Mind Jack Zoroark you'll be able to get it consistently or use it consistently. Then Sudowoodo is great for just not letting your opponent take advantage and get those multiple bench spots. And it's something that their opponent has to play Hex Maniac around in order to be able to actually fill up their bench. 1 Exeggcute, like I said, for the aforementioned Propagate into Trade. 1 Oricorio for the Night March matchup, which could get a little messy otherwise, but if Night March extends as much as they need to one-shot a Zoroark or Lycanroc, then Oricorio will be able to come in and take multiple knockouts. And then 3 Lele, because Lele into Brigette is the exact start that this deck hopes for and is the ideal start. 1 Computer Search as the A-spec of choice, just to get one of the puzzle pieces out. I mean, this deck doesn't necessarily rely on as much on combos as other decks, but still just getting out that extra Lycanroc or that extra Zorua turn 1, or getting that Zoroark or Lycanroc not turn 2, but turn 2 and beyond is very necessary for this deck, or just searching for that one of that really would help in a certain situation is very important. 1 Field Blower because Garbodor and Choice Bands are annoying for us. 4 Ultra Ball and 1 PCOM as the methods of Pokemon search. Just 4 Ultra Ball because I mean it guaranteed gets us our Pokemon when we want it, and then PCOM more than likely we'll have a Pokemon in our hand at one point or another during this game, and then you might have like a Lycanroc in your hand that you don't want to play yet because you want to save that Bloodthirsty Eyes for later. You can just put it back into the deck and grab that Zoroark that you need, or just something to that effect. 4 Puzzle of Time to recur from our discard pile. 1 Rescue Stretcher to be able to get our Pokemon back, because odds are you'll just want to get like 1 Pokemon back, although you can shuffle in 3, that's definitely a possibility, but usually you just want to get like 1 Zoroark that you discarded or something to that effect. 1 Target Whistle if our opponent plays down Shaymin or something like that and we knock it out, we can Target Whistle that thing back onto the bench and then Bloodthirsty Eyes to bring that thing back up. It's just a nice cheap way to get extra prizes. 4 via Seeker to reuse all of our supporters. 3 Skyfield, as that's kind of what this deck relies on, but it doesn't need it to be successful, so that's why we don't need to run 4. 3 is plenty. And then as for the supporters, for draw support, you have 2-2 of N and Juniper, not Sycamore. It's 100% different than Sycamore Juniper is. And then 1 Colress. You might notice that we're not running any Cynthia. With Trade, we really don't need that shuffle draw 6. So if we're playing an N, it's it's to disrupt our opponent, just plain and simple. N will be to disrupt our opponent and put him to a lower hand size, so we really don't need that shuffle draw of Cynthia. We can have Colress for bigger hands if we end up in that position. One Mallow just for the combination of Mallow into trade. One Hex Maniac so we can shut off abilities, particularly like safeguard abilities that could prevent us from attacking. One Guzma, just because Guzma is Guzma. One Brigette, because Lele into Brigette, like I said. And finally, one Acerola to be able to bring up Zoroark if it's heavily damaged, or reuse a Bloodthirsty Eyes from Lycanroc if it gets damaged, that type of thing. 2/2 of Choice Band and Float Stone for extra damage and free retreat. Then finally, 4 DCE and 2 Fighting Energy, because DCE is what this deck runs on. And then Fighting Energy does allow us to use like Dangerous Rogue GX with Lycanroc, as that's really the only GX attack that we're able to use in this deck. So yeah, I've talked for way too long. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against a Benjaminosaur. Benjaminosaur? I don't know. I'm just going to go with that. With a Dark Psychic, and I didn't see what the rest of it was. But luckily, we do win the coin flip, so we will be able to go first. And we start off with not the greatest hand in the world, but honestly, it's not horrible, because I do have Computer Search, so that can always turn a hand into something, and we will be getting a mulligan card as well, so that is always something that I can work on. Actually, 2 mulligan cards, and it looks like we're up against a Ultra Beast deck, so probably some sort of Naganadel toolbox is what I would guess my opponent is going to be using against me. And yeah, let's see what we get off of the mulligan cards. Hopefully it's something good. Hopefully it's like a Brigette. So that will be something that I can work off of immediately. Yes, I would like both of those. And get a Lycanroc and a Choice Band. Well, it's not the greatest in the world, but it's not the worst. So what I'm going to do is Computer Search, get rid of the Hex Maniac and the Exeggcute. To grab, I think just grab a Lele. Wait, why am I grabbing a Lele? Let's just grab a straight up Brigette. I'm so used to Ultra Balling for a Lele and then checking to see if the Brigette is there. But if we have a Computer Search, we can just get any card. So let's go ahead and grab the Brigette. And yeah, we're in a pretty good... We'll be able to... Okay, so I'm going to try to bait out the Field Blower. I don't want him to Field Blower my Sky Fields later. So let's go ahead and get a Zorua, and then I think... Do I want 2 Rockruff, or do I want a Sudowoodo? Let's actually get just 2 Zorua, or 1 Zorua and 2 Rockruff. And then play the energy onto the Rockruff, as that's something that's going to... The Rockruff is something that wants to have the fighting energy, and I can always just DCE up my... Zoroarks later. And it does attach the Beast Energy to the Kartana, so that's not going to be able to really attack this turn. I should be able to... I think I should be able to live through the turn, especially with the, okay, Hypnotoxic Laser, as long as we don't see a Verbank. That should be fine. Flips Tails, doesn't really matter. I was planning to evolve. And then he ends me, which is unfortunate, but, I mean, it's something I can work with, I believe. So let's go ahead and see what we get off the N. And we get... Okay, so at the very least, I should be able to get a Zoroark this coming turn, because I'll be able to Mallow into a Shaymin. Yeah, because I can just DCE up the active Zorua, and then Mallow, put like probably a Skyfield and a Zoroark at the top, and then hope that I can draw into something else. Well, hopefully I can draw into another card. And he does just go ahead and... What did he do? Oh, he went for his GX attack. Okay, that's okay with me. That's fine. So let's see. Ooh, we get a double puzzle. This I can really work with. This I can definitely work with. So let's first double puzzle. Grab... I want to just grab the Exeggcute. I mean, no, I should have grabbed a supporter. That way I have another card to discard. So let's... Computer Search. Actually, no, I stick by that, because that's what because this way I get the maximum cards off of a... This way I get the maximum cards off of Shaymin. I get a full 6 cards off of it. So let's Float Stone the Rockruff, DCE the Zorua, evolve the Zorua into a Zoroark, and then I think... Actually, let's just go ahead and Shaymin, because I can always Zoroark for Mallow if I decide that I need it, and there we go. Okay, so this is what I was hoping for. So what I can do now is let's go ahead and execute. I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab another Zoroark, I think. Well, I have to make sure to do this in the right order to not Mallow and then shuffle my deck. So let's go ahead and Mallow. Grab a Skyfield for sure. That way I'm able to play all these down. And then, okay, there's 2 DCs in the deck. I think another Puzzle of Time should be good. Yeah, because that way I can get a double puzzle, get back at the computer search one more time. Yeah, and this way I'm not just like wasting a puzzle of time. I can actually do something with it. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. And then trade, get rid of this Exeggcute for the Skyfield and the second puzzle. Then let's play the Skyfield down, and then how do I want to do this? Play down the Rockruff, play down the Zorua, and then let's double puzzle once again to probably grab Computer Search and... Yeah, honestly just Computer Search and VS Seeker, because at this point I can start just propagating with Exeggcute to get more stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. And then... Yeah, Computer Search. I think Computer Search is basically just going to act as an Ultra Ball, but I mean, if you can use Computer Search, you might as well, to grab a Zoroark. And I could have always traded... You know what? I could have traded away the Exeggcute, see if I could have... Actually, no, I already traded for the turn anyway, so I couldn't have done anything. So let's just go ahead and put my opponent down to a bench of 4, and then go for a Riotous Beating to knock out the Kartana and take 2 prizes. And this is what is so strong about this deck, just being able to... what am I trying to say? What's strong about this deck is being able to fill up a bench and then just take a big knockout with Zoroark. Because I mean, the big thing with Zoroark in the standard play is that it can't take big one-hit knockouts. Like, that is its shortcoming. But at the same time, in Expanded, you're able to get Skyfield in play, so all of a sudden it can act like a Mega Rayquaza type and then just take big one-hit knockouts on stuff, while at the same time still providing the utility of trade that it had in the standard format as well. So I mean, honestly, it's just such a strong mon, all things considered. It really is. And my opponent's going to get a couple Darkrai, one Darkrai EX and then a Prism Star Darkrai to get a couple more Darkness energies into play. I'm probably just going to try to target down... the Dark Pulse Darkrai, as that's the one that's going to be able to take one-hit knockouts later in the game. Or actually, even at this point. Well, not even. I mean, that's the one that's going to be doing the big damage. Yeah, the Prism Star can just... can put me in a situation. My opponent does just play an N, but the Dark Pulse Darkrai can take one-hit knockouts, while the Prism Star Darkrai just puts me in a position where I have to find a way out of the sleep. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and Ultra Ball for... Yeah, let's go ahead and Ultra Ball for a Lycanroc, I think. And then I can always just Mallow for 2 cards. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and Bloodthirsty Eye, or not Bloodthirsty Eye just yet. But let's go ahead and grab the Mallow. Because I can... Yeah, let's propagate this Exeggcute, because I can always just hold on to the Lele for a Guzma later in the game to take the one-hit knockout on his Lele to end the game. Then I think I'm just going to grab... Let's grab a trade. And then do I want to grab the stand-in? I don't think so. I think I want a supporter. So let's grab Acerola. Acerola is another way that I can play around the sleep. Actually, let's grab the Field Blower so that I can get rid of that Rock Guard, because that's gonna be very annoying to deal with, and then I can always just try to like play around with Lele for Guzma later in the game if I decide that I need it. So let's go ahead and evolve into Zoroark, DCE up that guy. Field Blower, get rid of both the Rock Guard and the Muscle Band. And then it's Bloodthirsty Eyes. Let's go ahead and evolve the Rockruff. Well, the Rockruff, obviously evolve the Rockruff, but evolve the Rockruff that has the energy on it. Bring up that Darkrai. And then, you know what, I mean, like, I really don't need anything else this turn. I have everything that I really want. But, I mean, if you can get more cards, you might as well do it. So, especially at a 0 opportunity cost of Exeggcute. So, yeah, I mean, I get 2 DCEs off it. Nothing that I really need or could have played. But, I mean, still, that's just 2 cards. Increases my chances of drawing into something very nice with... increases my chance of drawing into something nice next turn, top decking. And, yeah, now I'm in a good spot. My opponent can put me to sleep with the Darkrai Prism Star. But honestly, that's not a huge deal. Yeah, he is going to end me, but I do have 2 Zoroarks. They're both going to be able to trade. That is just fine with me. And yeah, I mean, it's not the... Oh, I even get the Lele, so it really doesn't even matter at this point. I can always just Guzma up the Lele and then knock him out with a Zoroark. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much just win the game at this point. He can play Hoopa, but again, I have the Lele for a Guzma. I have another Zoroark that I can play down for more trades. And this is just going to pretty much be game at this point. Not a whole lot. Really don't think there's anything my opponent can do to avoid losing at this point. I mean, he can put me to sleep, and which maybe in his eyes will potentially allow him to win, but wow, I even got the double heads off that. But I mean, it really didn't matter. As you can see, I do have the Lele in my hand. I have 3 trades to work with. I can always just try to grab like the Acerola. I could do really a whole lot of different things, but I am just going to go ahead and Guzma up the Shaymin actually to knock it out. Let's bring up this let's bring up the Rockruff. I'm doing the daily challenge for damage, and unfortunately my opponent does concede, so I should have just tried to get that little bit of extra damage off on that Shaymin just by going into another Zoroark. So got a little bit greedy and wasn't able to finish off the game, but we are able to win. And yeah, so that was a very, very solid first game. Got to show exactly what Zoroark and Lycanroc can do. But yeah, really not a whole lot to say other than we just steamrolled our opponent. So let's go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Remy 1100 with a Water and Psychic deck. So I really have no idea what they're running. I mean, it's obviously something water related. And obviously, well, I mean, to be fair, that could just be a Lele. And then I start off with, well, if I had more Shaymins, this would be workable. Because what I could just do is like Ultra Ball for a Shaymin, then Mallow for like another Shaymin and another Zorua or something like that. But yeah, so okay, this is Lapras Keldeo. Looks like this is kind of a turbo water deck, I would think. Attaches to the Lapras, Max Elixir's hits on the Keldeo. Okay, so this is yeah, this is a turbo water. Battle Compressor is probably going to get rid of a couple water. Gets rid of 3 water. And, ooh, all Seeker Rare water. Nice. And then Aqua Patch onto, boy, this is 3 energy on board already. Yeah, that X button is looking really nice right about now. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to play this out because, I mean, like, turbo water. Oh, it's another Max Elixir. Well, I mean, as long as there's no Primarina, if I can just take out the majority of the energy, then I don't think my opponent... Oh my goodness. Wow. Then I think I should be okay, and... Yeah, so this is a thing. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Guzma and the Acerola for... What do I want to do? Do I just want to grab a Shaymin? Or do I want a Lele? I mean... Do I kind of want to extend this turn? Yeah, I think I'm going to try to extend as much as I can this turn. And then I'm going to Shaymin. Hopefully get a couple more Pokemon in play. I get a Zorua. And then let's DCE up this guy. And then I think what I'm going to do is Mallow for a Zoroark and a... Zoroark and a Brigette, potentially. Because if I get both of those, I should be able to fill up the bench. I think. or should be able to get enough to get a... Would it be enough? No, that'd only be 140. So I need a choice band in order to pull that off. So I think what I want is just a Rockruff. Yeah, and then I'll probably just have to Colress this next turn. So, I mean, all things considered, I probably could have played... Actually, I know I could have played that first hand a little bit better. And my opponent does just end me, so that's okay. Hopefully I draw into some Mons that I can put onto the bench, because I need those for Zoroark, and for Zoroark to be able to get an attack off. And, oh boy, gets another Lapras, gets a... Interesting, gets a Aqua Patch onto the Vulpix. And then he's just going to rush in with Keldeo. Does he not have a supporter? Or did he already play? Oh, he played an N, duh. And then he is just going to knock out my Zorua, so that's not the greatest. But what I can try to do... How am I going to do this? So I think I just have to go all in on this N. Just if this N doesn't get me something good that I can work with, I am screwed. And, okay, this is very promising, because what I can do is put him down to 4. Let's Zoroark up the active. And then I literally just need one more Pokemon. Because now that I have the choice band, I just need one more basic. And I don't get it. So let's play down the Oricorio. And then just go for a Riotous Beating, I guess. I mean, there's no point in trying to play down the Lele if Lele can be good later. My opponent has showed that they will play N. And it's going to Max Elixir. Please don't hit this one. Wow, my opponent hits another Max Elixir and then is going to go ahead and Cynthia. That is not necessarily okay, but is workable. And then going to, okay, promote into a Ninetales. That's fine. I have the Hex Maniac. I mean, I have the Mind Jack Zoroark. I have ways around it. And also my opponent has 6 prizes worth of Mons on board anyway. So it's not going to be the end of the world, but he is just going to manually retreat into his Lapras. Probably go for an Ice Beam is what I would think. But I can always just try to Mind Jack. Yeah, he does. I can always just try to like Acerola out of that, or Guzma out of that, or whatever. So what I'm going to do, let's Lele for... You know what, I think let's Lele for... How do I want to do this? It's only 7. Acerola is there, but Mallow is also there. Let's grab the Colress. So I can Colress for 8. And I think that's what I want to do. Or do I want to just Mallow? I could get greedy with the Colress and then just pray that a Colress for 8 gets me that. Or, okay, let's see if there's something that can get me out of it of the top 3 cards. There is not. I was about to say, if there's like a Mind Jack Zoroark in the top 3 cards, then I could have potentially traded and then tried to Mallow. But, okay, do I want to just Colress for 8? Or, because I don't think that would quite get me there. Or, Mallow wouldn't quite get me there. So I think, yeah, the play is to Colress for 8. And then hope that I draw out of it, which, well, that counts as drawing out of it. Yeah, that's great. So I'm able to play down a Zorua. Let's Ultra Ball, get rid of a Fighting Energy, and a Rockruff for a Mind Jack Zoroark for sure. So let's play that down. I could have grabbed the Exeggcute, but I mean, it would just be discarding too much stuff, and especially if I have enough in hand to get the knockout, I think I just want to go for that. So let's play the Rockruff down, energy that thing up, stand in with my Zoroark, and then let's trade, see if I can get maybe something better that I can work with. I get the Bloodthirsty Eyes for later. So let's go ahead and retreat into this Zoroark. Yeah, my opponent will be able to knock it out next turn. Okay, please retreat. Pretty please. There we go. I was about to say, I know I have connection right now. And then go for a Riotous Beating, knock out this Lapras, but essentially waste the GX attack. It would have been better for my opponent if they just went for a... Would have been better if they just went for a Blizzard Burn, actually, because it would have gotten an extra 60 damage off on me. And yeah, that actually would have been a KO with this Ninetales, because with the stuff that my opponent currently has on the board, Unless he gets a choice band, he can knock me out. And he does not get a choice band, so yeah, my opponent used a GX attack and actually would have just been better off going for a regular attack. I get the Hex Maniac, which I can work with. Exeggcute is not in the discard pile. So what I'm going to do is Ultra Ball. Maybe. Do I want Ultra Ball? Because I'd be getting rid of some stuff. I'd be getting rid of quite a bit of stuff just to get Exeggcute. Do I want to go ahead and do that? I don't think so. So I think what I'm going to do first is get just a couple extra. Like get 2 more cards, or just get an extra card for this turn, so that I can pull off the Exeggcute shenanigans that I want to pull off. So let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, grab the Exeggcute, and then let's Computer Search. Actually, I could just go for a Colress this turn, like Computer Search for a VS Seeker to grab a Colress. But instead, I think I want to get another Zoroark set up so that an N doesn't completely screw me this upcoming turn. And now, with the Exeggcute in the discard pile, I can just propagate that thing back into my hand, go for my second trade. And I mean, I still have the knockout on the Keldeo this turn, and I do even get the VS Seeker that I can work with. So, could also Hex Maniac if I wanted to completely shut my opponent down. But I think I actually kind of want to hang on to the VS Seeker. Let's go ahead and first things first, Bloodthirsty Eyes. Bring up the Lapras because, I mean, Keldeo's in range of literally any attack, except for Oricorio's, I think. But any attack on my board except for Oricorio does knock it out. I think also Shaymin doesn't quite knock it out, but if I get a choice band, then Shaymin does. But I am able to knock out the Lapras. My opponent can end me and then knock out my Zoroark, but at the same time I do still have a trade on board that I should be able to work with for this upcoming turn and maybe potentially draw into, like, just basically draw my way into a VS Seeker or something like that. Because if I can draw my way into a VS Seeker, I will be able to win the game. I mean, just basically no questions asked at this point. And if I don't, then I can always just try to stand in with my Zoroark on the bench. Go for Mind Jack to slowly wear down this Alolan Ninetales. I mean, it doesn't quite. Actually, it's a 3-hit KO, so he will be able to 2-hit KO me before I'm able to KO him. But at the same time, it's, I don't know, it's workable. I still have Hex Maniac too if it comes down to that. But I don't think it will, because all I need to do is just bring up that Keldeo. And he does Guzma, which means I'm going to win the game off of this. Brings up the Mind Jack Zoroark, and then retreats back into Ninetales. But that doesn't do anything. Because I have the VS Seeker. I'll just go ahead and grab that Guzma to bring up the Keldeo to win the game. And yeah, let's just bring up the Keldeo, do the Zoroark, and my opponent does forfeit. So once again, we are stopped just 1 attack short of being able to finish out the game, and yeah, able to take the W on that one as well. So yeah, I mean, you guys got to see what Zoroark plus Skyfield can do, and then Lycanroc is just a great secondary attacker, just a great backup ability to go with trade, and those two work off each other so well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.